Hey everyone, and welcome to the Americana Station podcast. It's been a couple of months since I put one out. The last one I did was with Mr. Caleb Edwards right at the front end of this pandemic, and I've been taking some time off. I've recorded an EP, and the first single came out, The Good Old Days. It's available on all streaming platforms as well as Bandcamp. Thank you so much for everyone that supported by purchasing that on Bandcamp, and thank you for listening to the song. It's got almost 1,000 listens already, and it's been out, I think, since June. So thank you so much, and I hope that you're listening and streaming all of these independent artists and helping getting their streams up and getting them a little bit more money when they can't make money any other way. God bless you for that if you're doing that. Today is an Off the Rails episode, and I'm talking to a few people all over the globe about what they're doing during this quarantine. And they'll introduce themselves, and we'll talk to them about what they've been up to. How have you been? I hope you've been good. I hope that you have been listening to a lot of new music. I have been doing some I've been doing some playlisting. We are now at 99 as of the moment that I'm recording this, 99 followers on the Americana Highways Backroads playlist. I would love for you to be number 100. Why don't you go and hit up Spotify right now and look up Americana Highways Backroads playlist. That is curated by yours truly, Will Payne Harrison. And it's got some good stuff. Some Will Payne. We've got some Gillian Welch, some Will Payne Harrison. Dirt Reynolds, who we're trying to get back here on the podcast, my friend Chris Watts, Darlin Bryandow, the Ava Brothers, Molly Tuttle. We've got a lot of really good stuff on there. And I'm updating that every month. So just keep on listening. I found this new group of female singer-songwriters called Mona Lisa Tribe. And online, and they just released a couple new singles. I tacked one of those songs onto the playlist this month, Fly, but they have another new single that just came out, and they're incredible. You should definitely go listen to them. I also have two new playlists. I just created the New School Honky Tonk playlist with people like J.P. Harris, Jesse Daniels, Sterling Drake, Garrett T. Capps, Corb Lund, Laura Mae Sox, who's been on the podcast, India Ramey, and so forth and so on, including yours truly, Will Payne Harrison. And I also started a new Nashville Americana playlist, which is going to be only Nashville Americana as a way to kind of help the scene in the community here. It's got people like Jess Chacoy, my friend Wilson Harwood, who's been on the podcast, Chris Moise, Nathan Evans Fox, Kellen and Troy, a lot of people that have been on the podcast, Caleb Christopher Edwards, who was just on. So check out these podcasts, go follow them. You can, if you go to Will Payne Harrison on Spotify, it'll be, all the playlists will be under my name. And there's also an Americana Station podcast that hasn't been updated in quite a while, but we'll get to that. Next up on the podcast, I will be having the Danberries. We'll be recording that via Zoom this coming week. And I'll also be getting in touch with Dirt Reynolds as well as Mona Lisa Tribe, and there'll be some more stuff coming down the pipeline. I am recording an EP. I have been recording an EP, but it's almost done. So I've been kind of focused on that. Sorry for dropping the ball a little bit on the podcast, but we're going to be coming back. So stay tuned, and let's listen into what's been going on with these guests of mine. So I asked each of these guests to introduce themselves, so they're going to introduce themselves real quick.
Hey, this is Josh Gray. I'm an Americana singer-songwriter from Nashville.
Hello, my name is Matthew Kelso, and I am a musician. I'm a multi-instrumentalist. I'm a music teacher.
Hey, this is Jesse Rayo, and this is Daniel Rayo of the Rayo Brothers.
Hi, my name is Teigen Gayse, and I am a singer-songwriter from British Columbia, Canada.
I asked each of my guests how the quarantine has been affecting them. Here's Josh Gray.
So the way the quarantine has affected me, my day job is doing IT work for the hospitality industry. And while that is a remote job, the industry was very hard hit. So I got furloughed on March 20th, my birthday. So that was really fun, but honestly, I know many are worse off, and I really can't complain.
Here's Matthew Kelso.
The first answer that comes to mind is that we have 2 children, both of which are in high school, and they, today's April 8th. They may have effectively finished school on March 15th or March 13th, actually, Friday the 13th. And so we're trying to balance, how to keep them occupied and how to keep ourselves occupied. But luckily, the 2 of us are still working, and the kids are not being given schoolwork by the city of Nashville and by their 2 respective schools. So, we're just trying to figure out, okay, if they're just finished with school in mid-March, then where do we go from here?
As you can tell, this was recorded back in April, so a lot of these guests on the show didn't have any idea how long this would last. I'm now speaking to you, and it is towards the end of July, and things are still not looking great. But here's Jesse Rayo from the Rayo Brothers.
Yeah, well, it's a real bummer, a real kick in the nuts to start off, because we had just come off of taking like a 3-month break from live shows so that we could work on new music and new material. And we had a really, probably our best little 3-month, schedule of shows that we've done up to this point. The spring season for a lot of musicians is the busiest, and you've got the best shows usually at that time with all the festivals that go on around the whole country. So we played the very first show of our spring schedule in the first week of March, and then everything after that got canceled. It's looking like for at least 3 months.
Here's Teigen Gayse.
I'm currently in Texas right now releasing and promoting my self-titled debut album. That released on April 17th, so go check it out if you haven't already. I hope you guys like it. I wrote all the songs on the record, so I'm very proud of that. I also released a music video. You guys can check that out on YouTube. The song is called Don't Look Back, and it's very relevant for the time. So it's very optimistic and positive, and if you just need a little light in your life, go check that out, and I hope that it helps. Quarantine has actually been it's been a very positive and optimistic experience for me. I've been quarantining with my manager, and she is a woman of many talents, and so we've both been very innovative and just creative in this time. And because I have this record releasing, it's been very go, 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 go. So it's been a good experience. I've had things to do, and so it's been good.
I asked each of my guests how they were coping with being quarantined during this time, and this is what Josh Gray had to say.
The way I'm coping is I've been working on a lot of projects around the house that I didn't get to before. I started a little indoor herb garden, doing a lot of cooking and trying new recipes, spending the day with my daughter and FaceTiming my parents in California. Overall, just staying safe, trying not to overwork myself. I think it's important to know when to relax and give yourself a break, especially with all we're going through.
We're coping by just being good to each other, by taking lots of long walks with our dog, by having family art night, which has been really fun. We are in a very artistic family. Everybody is an artist, and we're all contributing to our own personal artwork, mine being music, but the other ones are the more visual artists, and we're just working on that when we can, and cooking together and eating together, and sometimes just taking breaks from each other, which I think is equally important.
So it's really demoralizing, but what I'm doing to try to cope with it is just keep a regular schedule. So trying to make sure that I practice either banjo or guitar and work out every day if I can.
Yeah, and as far as for coping, I really haven't encountered like a lot of negatives. As far as like cabin fever or anything like that, I've actually been outside a lot and like interacting with nature and, out in the garden, planting things like that. Like, of course, spring is the time when you plant things and when you can really appreciate nature in its full beauty. So I guess that's one of the positive things really that has come out of it. That, being able to interact with nature. As far as, it's a two-edged sword. Of course, having a schedule, like a set schedule, especially for a band, that's how you make your, that can be how you make your sort of income for the year and things like that. But there is some freedom, I guess, in having, just freedom. And, I guess just to embrace that since you don't have a choice, really, and knowing that everyone is in the same boat,
How am I coping? Well, I'm definitely ready for the world to get back to normal again. I know not everyone has had a good experience with this, so I pray that this all goes away very soon, and I thank God that I get someone to quarantine with. I know not everyone has someone to quarantine with, so my heart goes out for them and for everyone in the front line. And
I'm a firm believer in positive thinking, so I asked each of my guests to name 3 things positive that have come out of the quarantine so far, and this is what they had to say.
I've enjoyed spending a lot of time with my daughter since she's been out of daycare. Kids grow up so fast, so it's really great to spend time with her every day and just see all the new things she's learning. I'm eating way more cookies and bread since my girlfriend has been on a baking spree. I guess that's both good and bad. I've been playing guitar every day, working on new songs that will likely be on the next album.
I think that togetherness, especially with our oldest kid being a senior in high school, has been really great because, you kind of get that empty nest syndrome and she's about to go off to college, but maybe now we get an additional 2 months that we wouldn't have had, and that's really positive. Like I said, we're getting out more in the middle of the day when we would be kind of stuck in our offices. And, the third positive thing would be that we're getting more time as a family that we wouldn't have otherwise. So I think that's a real blessing.
I guess a couple of positive things. One is that I'm probably spending more time with my daughter just because she's not in school. And that's fun. And another thing is that I've been looking at for over a year taking banjo lessons with this online course where you can actually interact with some really top level banjo players who teach these online classes. And I never felt like I had the time to be consistent with it and to put the time in to where it would make it worth my while to pay for it and to do those lessons. But now I've been doing it, and I think it's really good. It gives me like something that I have to do every day, and I know it's improving my playing, and it's something I've been wanting to do for a long time.
3 positive things that have come out of this for me. So I've been reading a lot. I've been writing a lot, and I've been trying to watch a lot of educational films. I've been watching the Ken Burns country music documentary, which is incredible. So much history I didn't know about. I highly recommend anyone who loves country music to watch that.
I've been dreaming of the day when all this is over, heading back to Dee's Country Cocktail Lounge and grabbing a whiskey and watching some of my friends play and going to Honky Tonk Tuesday at the American Legion. And I've been thinking of a lot of different things that I really do miss here in Nashville. And one of the things I was sad about at the beginning in March was missing out on a tour where I got to go play at one of my favorite venues in Lafayette, Louisiana, actually with Jesse Rayo at Blue Moon Saloon. And so I asked these guys, what's the first thing they're going to do when they get out of quarantine?
Once things are safe, I want to get out and play music again, definitely. Aside from that, I need some 5 Points pizza. I want to go to Gayse, and I need to go to Five Daughters Bakery and get me a 100-layer donut.
I think 5 Points pizza. I think Fanny's House of Music, my alma mater, where I taught music for 3 years and worked, and the 5 Points neighborhood. We had a tornado on March 3rd. And then by March 11th, 12th, 13th, we were in quarantine. So I want to go to the 5 Points neighborhood, get some pizza, go see the people at Fanny's, play some guitars. Feel free to touch things again. It's really unfortunate where we are now, but, we're all going to bounce back from that.
Colorado, play in Denver again, maybe up through New Mexico, play in Colorado Springs. I know it's great this time of year, obviously. It's probably great every time of year. Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, more immediately, as soon as, they allow, any venues locally to open up, I'm going to try to book a show, that night, if possible, just because we want to play.
So depending on where I am, if I'm in Canada, I am dying to go out for a bottomless mimosa brunch with my friends. I've been in America for some time now, so I'm really excited to see my friends back in Canada. So if I'm in Canada, that's what I want to do. Go out for some brunch, drink some mimosas, and catch up with everyone. But if I am still in Texas, then I really want to go to Green Hall. That was one of the things I really wanted to do when I came down here. But of course, as soon as I got down here, we were quarantined, so I never got to go. So I'm really hoping to go there. And then also there's this place called the Oyster Bar in New Braunfels. That's where I am right now. And they have these things called breakfast shots. So what it is, it's butter ripple, orange juice, and candied bacon. And it is very dangerous, and I've been wanting to have one of those, so I'm really excited for that to open up so I can go and have one of those, and hopefully before I go back to Canada, I can get one of those.
The question I had that I was most interested in is how they're faring with their songwriting during quarantine, because I know personally I've only written a few songs. Some of my friends have only written a few songs, while I've also known a few friends to write a lot. So I had to see what they had to say on that.
The amount of time I spend with the guitar each day has increased slightly. I don't really sit down with the intention of writing songs. If it happens, it happened. I'm still taking notes and writing observations as I always have. So, yeah, making progress little by little.
Mine has probably increased in terms of I'm playing more instruments because I'm looking around my room. I've got multiple electric guitars, multiple acoustic guitars, slide guitar, banjo, piano, drums, bass, and, I've really been focusing on the piano because it is the universal instrument, and trying to really, that's not my first instrument, so I'm trying to really focus on that, and it gives me better ideas than I would never get on a guitar because I have to think more. I can't go from muscle memory, so, I would say my songwriting has probably stayed the same, but taken a different route, which is, it's always nice. It's always nice to have a fresh perspective. So,
as far as songwriting for me, Jesse, it has decreased. I mean, I really haven't had any motivation to write so far. Maybe eventually, if this keeps up, I'll start writing, either punk rock songs or screamo metal songs. But that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, this is Daniel. Yeah, I'm in about the same boat. Yeah, like you said, the motivation isn't there. You're not on this same sort of ride of doing shows and constantly being in it, playing music, trying out new songs and things like that. But we have been able to try out some of our new songs on our live streams and things like that. So that has been helpful to still be able to have some interaction. And that's actually been really, really nice to have fans interact with you and, you know, watch the live stream. You can tell they're tuned in, they comment, things like that.
Oh gosh, 100%. My songwriting has increased. Even like my guitar playing has increased. I've been watching a lot of lives lately. I've been keeping up with Kevin Fowler's Honky Tonk Tuesdays, and he's been having different artists on there. And same with Randall King. I've been keeping up with his and Joey Greer. There's so many artists down here that I've been keeping up with their lives, and I've just been trying to like retract a lot of information and, you know, learn their skills, what they're doing on the guitar that I've never seen before, because you can get really up and personal when you watch, and it's really cool. So I've been doing that, and that's been really fun. And as for writing, I'm getting to write about things that I've never experienced before, like what's going on in my mind. And, you know, I've never been through something like this before, so it's been good writing something so different than the normal, a challenge for sure, but I enjoy a little challenge. And I'm always so inspired when I'm in Texas, because the whole state lives and breathes music here, and I get to hear all these new artists I've never heard before back in Canada, and it's just really inspiring, and I feel like it expands my interests and helps with my writing.
Thanks so much. That's it for this episode of the Americana Station podcast, Off the Rails Special Edition. I want to thank my guests Josh Gray, Matthew Kelso, Jesse and Daniel Rayo, as well as Teigen Gayse. We will be having the Danberries on the next episode of the podcast, so if you aren't a subscriber, please do so right now on whatever platform that you're listening to. You can also rate and review. That really helps put us up in the spotlight, so we don't get buried in all the podcasts that are in the Americana format. So just give us a little review. If you can even write a little review, that would help even more than it would hurt you. Just take a few minutes to do that, and that would be super awesome. You can follow me on Twitter at Will P. Harrison, on Instagram at Will Payne Harrison, and I'm on Facebook at facebook.com/the Will Payne Harrison. I am going to be putting out a new single, Caroline, on Spotify and all other streaming platforms on July 31st. This is a cover of the Rayo brothers, who are on this episode of the podcast. So be sure to check that new single out on whatever streaming platform you listen to. It's also available on Bandcamp. Make sure you check out all these people's merch and help them out in this hard time. Thanks so much for listening. Stay safe and wear a mask.
When I look into your lonesome eyes, Caroline, will you be mine? You will find I will be kind.